Today, we're talking about a technology called predictive policing. It's a pretty complex issue, and it's already being used in cities around the world. So our goal here is simple, to help you understand what it is and how it works. This isn't about creating fear, it's about giving you the knowledge you need to stay aware. So let's just start with the biggest question right up front. Can a piece of technology, an algorithm, actually predict a crime before it even happens? That's the core idea we're going to explore. So what is predictive policing? Well, you can think of it as a system that takes a huge amount of information from all sorts of places, uses artificial intelligence to look for patterns, and then tries to forecast where trouble might pop up. It's kind of like a weather forecast, but instead of rain, it's predicting crime.
Okay, to really get a handle on this, we need to kind of lift the hood and see how the engine works. The whole thing, from gathering information to sending an alert to the police, really happens in three main stages. It all starts with collecting data, a lot of data. Then, special machine learning models sift through all of it to find patterns. And finally, if the system flags something, it sends out a real-time alert. Let's break each of these down a little more. So first up, data collection. And the sources for this are pretty wide-ranging. We're talking about cameras all over the city, some that can even use facial recognition. Then you have what are called IoT sensors. That's stuff like automatic license plate readers or sound detectors that can pick up a gunshot. The systems also scan public social media posts, and of course, they dig deep into historical crime data from police files. So what happens with all that information? Well, it gets fed into these really powerful machine learning models. Some of them are built to predict locations. They try to find crime hotspots. Others are behavior models that look for anything the AI thinks is unusual movement. And in some systems, they go even further and assign actual risk scores to specific places, or even people. And the final piece of the puzzle is the alert. Police departments can get these notifications on their screens in real time, pointing them towards a so-called high-risk area or person. The idea is to send officers to a location before anything is even reported. Now, this isn't just theory or science fiction. This technology is actively being used in cities across the globe. Let's look at a few real-world examples to see how it's being put into action right now.
For example, in the US, a well-known system called Predictive has been used to predict where crimes might happen. Over in China, this kind of tech is a huge part of their smart cities initiatives, where it's used to monitor for social stability. You might have heard about the heat list in Chicago, which was an attempt to identify people who are at a high risk of being involved in gun violence. And in the UK, similar AI surveillance is used to flag what it considers unusual activity in public spaces. As you can imagine, a technology this powerful brings up some very serious questions. And this leads us to the most important part of this discussion, trying to find the balance between the promise of more safety and the very real risks to our freedoms. And that's really the core tension here, isn't it? On one side, you have this promise of AI-powered safety, the idea that we can stop crime and keep people safe. But on the other side, you have the risk of creating a digital surveillance state where everyone is constantly being watched and judged by an algorithm. The concerns are pretty significant. Things like algorithmic bias, the slow erosion of our personal privacy, and the potential for what some people call pre-crime harassment, where people are targeted before they've done anything wrong. There's also the danger of taking all our different data and merging it together. And on top of all that, these systems are often like black boxes. They're opaque, so we don't know how they make decisions, which makes it nearly impossible to hold them accountable. Let's just pause on that first one, algorithmic bias, because it is absolutely crucial to understand. You see, if the historical data fed to the AI is already biased, say it shows more arrests in one neighborhood simply because it was policed more heavily in the past, the AI learns that bias. It then flags that neighborhood as high risk, which leads to more police being sent there, which in turn leads to more arrests. It creates this loop, a self-fulfilling prediction that just reinforces old problems. So what can we do about this? Well, just knowing that these systems exist is the first most important step. Now, let's talk about how communities can work to make sure these tools are used responsibly, if they're used at all. There are some very clear, practical steps. First, we can demand transparency from our local officials about if and how these systems are being used. We can advocate for independent audits to check these algorithms for bias. We can support stronger data privacy laws. We can promote community awareness. Just talking about it with friends and neighbors is a big deal. And finally, we can push for citizen consent so that the community has a real voice in deciding if this technology belongs in their neighborhood. When you boil it all down, it really comes back to this one powerful idea.
We all want to feel safe. But any safety we get from AI can't come at the expense of our fundamental freedoms.
The goal here isn't to make you afraid of technology, but to help you stay informed and cautious. Because awareness is protection. If you stay alert, you stay safe. Thank you for watching, and please share this information with your family and friends.